but she's not, Sue isn't sort of part of the, she's not a director, she's not part of the inner circle, things like that. But she's been listening and she's been observing, and I think she's got some really important points we'd just like to leave you to think about on your way home.
This sector doesn't stand third to anybody. In 1 year, I lost 2 businesses, my marriage and my home. I might not have been here today had it not been for your support. After 13 years of social audit, I'm still a novice. SAN is a grassroots movement amongst grassroots organisations. Why bother? Just some of the quotes or questions that I heard today that were powerful to me. I think when I first came here this morning, what I quickly realised was the rich experience that we had in the room. And I think when Matthew talked about at the very beginning, actually we have some people who are really new to social audit through to some that are very experienced. It's that diversity that brings the richness. Because those that are new ask those questions that those of us that have been experienced for a while don't remember to ask ourselves. And so it's that depth and diversity that's been so rich. I think the language that we use is really interesting. Again, even before the first session, we were talking about social value. What are these words that we're using? What do they mean to everybody? In this last session, we've said actually social value means different things to different people. Social values, social impact, social audit, social accounting. We're throwing these terms around. We all know in our own minds what we mean by it, but actually what is the common understanding of these words, and how careful do we need to be around the language that we use? So we started this morning with our facilitated networking session. I love that. I love the north to south. I love the fact that I chatted to Scotland for a little bit. I think I actually cheated slightly and came down to London, had those conversations. But again, it just reminds me of that diversity in the room, that richness that came from that geographical spread, and how exciting for SAN to have gathered so many people from so many places together to be here today. And then Liz gave her keynote speech. Give me a spreadsheet and I'll knock spots off you. I wish I could say that about myself. I love that. I just thought that was great. And I loved actually, Liz stood there and said, you know, she wasn't in her comfort zone, she didn't like doing this, but did you notice how competent she was? How she called out people in the room to give her that confidence as a speaker. So she knows her content, she knows her story, she speaks so well and authentically. But to make herself comfortable in the room, she used people in the room to help her with that. I thought she did that really well. Be clear about your mission and be clear about your impact. Could kind of sum it all up really. That was one of the key comments for me from what she was saying today. And then Matthew, you reflected before we broke for lunch and said, actually we're not confident enough. We need to shout a bit more, but we need facts to back up what we say. And then this afternoon we've broken into our 4 workshops. And I'm sorry, I sat in 2. I didn't split myself in 2, so I can only talk to the ones that I attended. But the ones that I was in, first of all, we were looking at auditing and self-verification. And I think for me, what was really powerful was the discussion we had around the value of the panel members, how they can be key influencers in the work that they're doing, how there's a great opportunity to engage beneficiaries and staff members in that process. And then we were looking at turning data into intelligence, and just when we were all wanting to sort of take a little bit of a back seat, and got us on the post-its and got us pointing the case studies and getting us to work and think a little bit and talk together actually, and recognise that actually we had a lot of common language in the work that we're doing. And then it was time to have our World Cafe discussion, and I think actually, in terms of bringing it together and giving that real focus to SAN, that last exercise has been really useful. And I think, Lynn, you were right to pick up that how do you see the social audit network in the future? Suddenly there was an energy in the room. And I think when you're facilitating, you notice these things, don't you? When you've got your head down on the tables, not so much so. Well, that was exciting. Everybody was energised around that. And what a lovely way to finish the day. Lots of ideas, lots of thoughts, and I think that reflects the fact that everybody in the room has had a great day. They've all appreciated having the opportunity to network. So thank you very much.